The summer of 2011 saw major rioting and civil unrest across England. The significance of the events led to various national reviews, reports and investigations, which tried to establish the causes, consequences and policy implications of the events. As well as this, much media coverage was provided, and at times international media was on hand to report the unrest. Yet 2 years of government reports, newspaper articles and politicians promising change, nothing has really improved for communities identified as most in need of support. The most destitute and poverty-stricken communities, whose members were grossly overrepresented in the criminal justice system during the riots, have seen no improvements in their lives since the 2011 riots. These neighbourhoods, although identified as areas needing financial support, have not yet benefited from government funding or other initiatives to improve community cohesion and prosperity. Instead, they have spiralled into further angst and frustration, whereby rioting may appear once again an attractive option as it did before. However, although rioting appears the only option for many marginalised young, the reality is that it cannot bring about change. Indeed, outbreaks of civil disorder may gain the attention of the mass media, hence most segments of society, including politicians and those in authorities of power, yet it fails to bring about the radical change that is demanded. Change in modern Western democracies is a slow and painful process, negotiated among MPs, powerful bureaucrats, and only affirmed to restore the interests of the ruling elite. Never does the legislation intervene to govern the masses based entirely upon humanitarian concerns, but rather it's only dominated through considering the interests of the dominant classes. Riots, chaos, anarchy that occurs time and time again in various parts of the Western world lose their appeal after the media attention dies down, and although promises are made, very rarely are they substantiated. Politicians are well aware that assurances of helping disadvantaged communities will help them survive another term in office. But further down the line, new challenges occur, new sets of problems emerge which require the attention of the government and local authorities, meaning a blind eye is turned to past promises. Therefore, taking to the streets in large quantities, smashing and looting shops cannot offer any long-term solution, but instead shows the mindless nature of such people, branded as thugs who cannot channel their behaviour through legitimate democratic means. It cannot change policies and future institutional practices. Naively, I, as well as many others assume, anticipated wide-reaching reforms and government support in areas worst affected by the riots, but instead no such initiatives have yet been taken. The spending review announced in the last couple of weeks opted for further financial support for the intelligence agencies, yet the education services have had a minor decrease in their budget. The spending review epitomises the government's approach to the fragile situation in the UK. A decrease in the spending on education services shows the government is not at all interested in addressing the root cause of the problems of social insecurity that leads to rioting. Instead, they would rather opt for observing problem populations and preventing such disorders from happening by containing these troublesome groups in prisons through community sentences and probation.